Okay. Greetings. Making sure this is working correctly. Okay. Seems like we're. I don't know. I forgot to test this. So here we are. I was gonna. Yeah, I didn't want to test it before I go live. If I deal with all that, it's getting late. So hope for the best. Last time I did this, the link disappeared. I had it, but nobody else did. So let's see see how this works. I imagine they fixed the bugs out of it. So they actually fixed it pretty quickly. So I was gonna do it yesterday, and yeah, I just didn't have any energy for it. So all right, greetings. We're back to the old format. Back to YouTube in all its glory. Okay, so we're going to go into Martian connections, Martian past lives, Martian connection to Earth, and this is what I've been receiving through some kind of download I've received recently. Like say on my trip back from Jacksonville. Jacksonville has UFO sighting energies, definitely. One major one was in the news, I think with the Pentagon and all that, but it was like a 5-year-old thing that they published recently. One of them was in Jacksonville, so it's definitely it's one of the places where all the Chinese stuff comes in. The seaports, one of the major ones. I want to say Miami has one, but I don't know. So yeah, tropical storm. Yeah, the tropical storm was here yesterday, and I drove into it on the way back here. Yeah, just the way I live. It wasn't that bad though. It's not as bad as it is turning into now. It's a hurricane, so just a lot of rain. That's all. Okay, so yeah, so we talked about this on with Retro yesterday, and we're going to a little bit of it right now. But yeah, it's kind of heavy right now, so we'll do what we can. Let's give you a slight update before we jump in. Alright, it's IamToad.com, private sessions. It's a scheduler, we're in a channel. Google Hangout, Zoom, and channeling by phone. Shop, I'm on the 23rd jeez, of July. I was going to try and catch up today, I just didn't get anywhere with it. Same situation here. I have other channels and heroes I do recommend: Social Network, Rabbit, Early Access, and a dating site. So, okay, for Mars, they say a Martian influence is in Central America. However you want to look at it, it's quite different than the pyramids in Giza. Of course, there's pyramids all across the world, but Martian energies are scattered throughout the world, but it's definitely here. So we'll go into some connections with that. Might actually channel other beings in Martians are pretty heavy, so I think that's the Predator movie. Interesting. So, but yeah, it's all Martian related. It even looks Martian when you think about it. The Aztecs, even the Mayan energies have a lot of Martian. So to give you some understanding of it. So obviously you can't prove a lot of this stuff. But we'll put it out there. Anyway. Not everyone's going to be able to connect with this, but you know, welcome to my world. I'm a crazy person half the time. Yeah, this is like the weirdest part of YouTube, one of them at least. I'm not trying to be that way. It's just maybe the most, I don't know, whatever it is. I don't know what it is. So, I got a download while I was out and about Mars was here before Atlanteans. And you can say they were rejected by Mother Earth. They were trying to do things here they probably should not have been doing. And a lot of those energies went into the Native Americans and Spaniards, or what is now your Central America. Let's put it that way. But not all Native Americans, but quite a bit. There was a Martian element there. So there's that, and you can say, yeah, Mars was. We talked about this yesterday, but we'll go into it. Everything's all rearranged here. I just realized that. Yeah, not a surprise. So, Mars has some kind of DNA that was a little bit unusual compared to other humanoid alien beings, from what I've gathered. Uh, Martians were a little bit, yeah, it might have been reptilians. Yeah, there were. But I believe for his predominantly human. Not your average looking human. Yeah, like your Arnold Schwarzenegger, very buff, things like that. Not all of them, but quite a bit of it was. And Martians were just a different type of energy that has not been seen before. I believe there's also other Martian worlds out there too. We're just not seeing it, or we have enough problems as it is. So I believe that played a big part in our creation, our, who we are right now. And we took elements from them, and yeah, they caused some difficulties, but it also helped us to evolve. I feel like it helped us with our bone structure, our mental structure. Not that we have a mental structure, most of us are crazy, but either way. So just the Martian, of course you have the Venus. All these planets are all connected to us in some way. They're not making themselves known. They're not channeled very often, or at all for that matter. So they're not really taking that seriously. Pleiadians, Sirians, Reptilians are taken more seriously. But what about the planets, Saturn beings, and all that around here? Not really. Probably not your most popular connections. So we're trying to make a change in that. I do channel them every once in a while, but doesn't mean it's going to be an all the time thing. But I have to move to different. I can't do everything. But overall, the Martian element is very strong here. You can say some of it is connected to the Middle East, where it's more of a male dominant energy there. It's like they try to find their place. So Mars was more masculine, even the females are masculine. There was feminine, but it was still masculine, touch there. There were feminine females there, definitely, but I believe it was few and far between. They did exist. They were tested heavily, let's put it that way. And now, yeah, there's different ways of looking at it, but I feel like the Martian plays a heavy energy. Also, the copper is very connected to Mars too, from what we just got. So where are we going with all this? Something to research mentally. While we're all insane asylums, we have something to think about. Of course, they close all insane asylums for the most part, so I guess we'll turn this place into a insane asylum instead. So, the way the world's going right now, yeah, future timelines, I don't know, it's just, I imagine there's going to be some kind of event coming up. I mean, I want to say that they're going to prolong, the election thing's not very clear. If they prolong that thing until next year, that would just be, that would be great. It tells you how messed up everything is. What I'm getting about the election, I might just make a separate video on it, just put it out there. It's like if they delay the election, we're on a whole nother timeline now. we're in Unknownville for sure. Now people said like the event that was like an unknown this is kind of like the event, I guess. But if they prolong if and anything's possible, I would say they would, but I don't have 100% on it. But if they just say we cannot do the election fairly, then just say hell with it. I don't know what they're going to do with it, but that's going to put us in a whole nother. I would say our government's going to on its way out too. It's going to be restructured somehow eventually, and I mean, that's a major change that we need. So not that the election matters anyway, but so we have what until November? It's not that far away. It's a possibility. It really is. I mean, the way things are, I mean, they're canceling everything practically, right? Well, election involves people being there, unless they somehow cure this thing, which doesn't seem to be the case. So, yeah, they prolonged the election for not just a couple weeks, but for like months. It shows that we're on a whole nother. We're just anything can go if that happens. Just I mean, yeah, I don't mean aliens will show up, but our infrastructure of how we're set up is in such unknown territory. Anything can break down. It's just, and I certainly hope that happens. I'm not pushing for it, but I see it as a high possibility. I mean, they're canceling everything else. I don't see. I mean, like universities, you have to do it all on TV or at home. I guess you can vote at home, I guess. Only they're not prepared for that. So yeah, the November election here in the United States gets. It doesn't mean it will happen, but if it does, first off, that'd be a great thing. So, because that shows that just anything can break down now. Anything can go and is necessary. About freaking time. And they might do that whole, possibly the whole like what $2,000 thing, universal basic care. They might, right? I know it's on the table, definitely. They're not ready to fully put that out there, but I mean, as everything starts to go to hell, they have to keep it alive somehow. So, just putting it out there. Politics is a joke anyway, so seeing that, just so it's August. God, we still got a long ways to go though. So, all right, enough about that. Yeah, the clown show needs to come to an end, doesn't it? Well, that'll be one way to do it. All right, we'll go into Martian energies and other alien vibrations that are here, connected to Mercury before, so we'll see what else is here. So, I'm not sure about how the Martians are. They're kind of an intense bunch, but we'll see if we can get a lighter energy here, but yeah. All right, blessings. Here we go. Greetings. We are the Martian collective. Greetings here. Human collective. Yes, we are much different than you. We go for things quicker. We are manifestors of time. We are go-getters. Yes, we're not always the most easiest beings to be around. However, energies did go into some of your Native Americans, not all, but some, that are connected to your Aztec. Your Aztec, yes, is the offshoot of your Atlanteans. As your Atlanteans are losing their knowledge, the Aztec had a way of continuing it by building. Created the pyramids to continue the knowledge. And yes, they're older than as they seem. All through South America, there are alien remnants of Aztec beings, different Lemurian beings, Venus beings also. As the Venus beings are very psychic, but not always very hopeful when it comes to combat. They can give us knowledge, but are not exactly the easiest beings to get around along with. A lot of them didn't have much of a personality, like a stiff personality like Igor or something like that. They're telepathically powerful, but when you get them to say something, as you see now speaking, they're kind of meaningless there. You can have a great conversation in the mind, but when it comes to voice, they don't know what that is. They had to learn it. But many of them are spiritual teachers here. Without us giving you any details on that. The Martian is about survival. We came into this Earth, yes, to make it our own, as our planet was slowly breaking down even during that time. To build a civilization that's much more advanced than ours. And we were successful in that. And then we were erased from your planet. Some of us went back, some of us stayed here, as much of our elements are with the crystal energies here on your world. Some of us are also with the Anunnaki to give them power and strength, knowledge how to. So many of us incarnated with the Anunnaki to come back on this world, to rebuild it once it got lost. See, one thing about a Martian being, we can sometimes, not always, see the future very clearly. And we saw, we knew what was. Once you hear of the agenda of the Atlanteans and see what they're creating in the atmosphere, from an outsider's point of view, it became clear where this was all going. Not that we were fully aware of it at the time, but as the world became close to destruction, or as its early days of destruction, as basically when the Atlanteans lost their power and weaponized themselves, became third dimensional. As yes, many of your Atlanteans, as powerful as they are, were tested heavily and were not prepared for this Earth's dense energy field and became dark. Not all of them. Some became human as you are today. A lot of those that are spiritually inclined went to other places. They were not warmongers, no. The peaceful ones were in your Egypt, was in your Central America. It's like build while we still have the power. Because as we create, we keep our power. As we're constantly inventing, connecting to spiritualism, we usually stay pretty active. But eventually our bodies break down. We can no longer live in the third dimension environment. You can be in a third dimension environment, be a fourth dimension being very easily. As some of you have already experienced it. And many of us were 5th, 6th, and 7th dimension energies. Even with the loss of power, we still had a great amount of knowledge. The Alexandria Library had a lot of Martian energy. That was more Atlantean, but still had a lot of Martian. Basically, Martians are inventors. The inventor spirit is with all species, but much of it is with a Martian. And yes, we can be more intense sometimes, more than a reptilian being. We can also outsmart reptilian beings, as they are proud and think they're unbeatable, and Martians feel the same way. So we can admit defeat and then come out of nowhere and take them down. As yes, we understand ego quite well, as we have it ourselves, but some of us know how to see beyond the shadows of our own faults. Reptilian beings, the control. Now they've learned from us. A lot of reptilian beings have also weakened a lot of your Palladian energies on your planet, meaning some of your Palladians are very self-reliant on the planet, the government, humans, financial situation. That would be changed eventually. What happened to the Martians? We disconnected from spirit when we were on Earth. The version before your Atlanteans. You can say Gaia rejected us. We didn't go by her ways. We didn't go by her rules of connecting with nature, knowing, be a part of her plan. We had our own plan and got rejected from the planet. What was our plan? Was, yes, to terraform the Earth to a Martian environment. To pretty much take a Martian, yes, we were going to have more feminine energies here, but still be quite masculine. There's still a lot of masculine energies here. As those headstrong males that feel like, they can never have a feminine energy in their whole body, that is a very Martian way of thinking. Are we proud of that? No. Because that was our downfall. To not be open to expand. Mars cannot continue on the way it was going. It was going to burn itself out like anything else. It was going to destroy itself eventually. And we knew it. But no one was changing. No one was evolving. Here you are evolving. Notice how change is very difficult on your planet. Humans are still very stuck in their old ways. So somebody has to come in, a warmonger, and turn everything around. They have no choice. And that's a Martian energy, but not always. Sometimes it's a reptilian. It's some beings just, it's not, because the human gets complacent. If it wasn't for all that change, you'd be still in the 1920s right now. Driving 1920s cars, living that life. For your planet, not all worlds are like this, but your world needs somebody to just barrel through with a tank, you can say. As you're going through right now, your virus situation is uplifting energies and bringing in a new vibration in, of course. Not an easy one. See, right now, why things aren't happening fast. Once again, the headstrong human. This is a war, but even World War II took a long time. It took 5 years? You're not even into a year in this yet. And you expect quick change. Yeah, it's not going to be a fast change here. And you think this thing's going to go away. Part of it will, as wars move around. As you see right now, this current climate is moving around. So, it's not your typical war. It's a vibrational shift, of course. But the Martian way is not always a narcissistic, because that narcissism is a sign of weakness, is a sign of basically a weak soul trying to look big. That's not really the Martian way. That's the human way to hide one's faults. It's like putting up a shield, putting up this facade that's not real. But holes are there, aren't they? That's what you experienced. Greetings, we are from Uranus. Yes, we are a part of your third eye. We're part of much of your chakra infrastructure. A part of you, yes, learning your ways, passing your tests. We are, yes, to assisting continue Earth's existence here, as you are raising many other worlds, not just your own. Other planets are wondering where they have to go. So this world's finding faults with their many major beings that play a big role in other planets are here right now, incarnate. Some of them work at McDonald's. Some of them work at your dollar store, Dollar Trees, whatever it is you call it. They don't have to be in a major position. Some of them are. But a lot of the leaders from other worlds are here to learn about themselves. Or the complications of a planet like this. Because this world affected other planets and still continue to do so. As many of you, as you leave this incarnation, you go to other worlds with your knowledge. And you stir things up. Some of you become leaders there. Some of you become like militias. of other worlds. Not necessarily in a negative way, but in a way of basically influencing. Like a Dr. Luther King, Martin Luther King, similar to that, but not in that. But you understand, an influencer, whatever it is. It's like, where did this person come from? Oh, they came from Earth. So you're not always realizing your place in the universe. And some of you, things that you like, things that you enjoy, is a sign of where you came from. If you're interested in cats, you came from a cat world. If you're interested in dogs, you came from a dog planet. Not always. Some of you are humans connected to it. Some have a positive. Some of you need a canine energy to assist with the soul. Some, yes, narcissists are yes, very controlling. So have a canine being to be controlled, but also to help you eventually find your ways, your flaws. And that's what a canine is very good to. Be your friend, but also help you heal and get the answers. Not everyone's ready to hear the answers about themselves. One of the answers, truth can be so deadly to souls on this world. You find your truth, some can't handle it, as many of you know, and people, when they hear the truth about themselves, they can alter their timeline, shift everything, go darker, go lighter, whatever it might be. Hearing your truth, and especially when you're not ready for it, can really kind of shatter the soul. But it can also rebuild you if you wish to do so, depending on who you are, at a major turning point. So one's truth is very difficult to find, but once you are hearing it, it's like an earthquake in the body. Yes, you're connecting to alien vibrations. Of course, eventually, yes, they'll find themselves here, but humans are still, yes, getting themselves out of the hole they're in today. Their existence. Eventually, you're going to remove the clock, what you call it time. Eventually, yes, it's a little bit stretched right now, but eventually the idea of a clock will no longer be needed, as you are already taking down. Well, none of you watch black and white television anymore, right? You have upgraded to color. So when you start upgrading your reality, you won't no longer need a clock. Look at clocks, like who needs that anymore? Then you're connected to linear time. You take down all the clocks, remove anything. You might put it in museums, nice to look at, but you don't need to go by its schedule anymore. And that frees the soul. Time is a prison here. Yes, the waters, your salt water, oceans, yes, will eventually be cleared. That's once again, now there's a lot of positive elements of salt water. Of course, sea salt is very powerful element, but it's healing the third dimension. But as you evolve into another reality, as many of you are doing so, you'll see salt water is a different type of salt water. It's still salt water, but it's cleaner. It's clear. You can dive right into it and be down there for hours, go as far as you want. That's the world you're building at this time. It takes time. Of course, humans have to get over themselves for any of this to occur. Many are still locked in the prison of the third dimension, which is fine. But many of you are finding a way out. As yes, there are realities where there are humanoid beings with 2 heads, 3 heads. Cat beings some cat beings are the most loveliest beings you can ever meet. Some are the hardest teachers in the universe. Some of them are from Sirius. They wanted, yes, this world was basically built for, yes, the souls to know more about themselves, just to become better leaders, better teachers, better everything. But to be brought down to your lowest, brought down to your lowest is necessary. Humans aren't really connecting to themselves, as you can see. You can't go around anywhere and say what's on your mind. It's not just fear, it's culture. Culture says you do not exist. A certain type of human that thinks a certain way does not exist. You exist, but you're not part of the program. As humans are connected to a program that Anunnaki placed here in its past. A television set in the mind called your third dimension reality. As some of you are tuning that out, Some will go to conspiracy theories first before they're ready to eject into the spirit realms, the universe, where everything goes. As it goes much deeper into your souls, basically, some of you, where you get to a certain vibration, will be able to copy yourselves, clone yourselves, duplicate yourselves in linear time. Why you do this? Because you want to experience different things you want to experience many things at once. Eventually that'll occur. But once again, humanity has to get over itself. It's part of a program that many, yes, go into the spiritual idea of it, but still stay in halfway in third, other side in, it's like halfway in third, other side in spiritual universe connections. Some are not ready to go into the sun, go into the moon, go into the Earth's Gaia system, upgrade your Earth to connect with the sun so you can be connected to the higher chakras of the Earth, basically. As some of you are making it that way, forgiving yourselves on different levels. It's not easy to be a human, as you can see. A Uranus society of us is first, we check ourselves. Yes, are you being, genuine, you can say. A lot of time we do every day, we just know. We just know. We don't make it our conversation. We assist your world in finding itself. How do we do that? Part of it is a mirror, but not the typical mirror you see in the physical. It's the one that you're reflecting, when yourself is being reflected back to yourself. When you do something and it comes back. So you can say we're technically connected to karma in that way. So we assist basically to help you find yourself. So what you put out there comes back. That you can say that's the Uranus way, but it's what we're contributing here to basically find ourselves. So hopefully when yourself reflects back to you, you notice. Not everybody notices it. It's not as easy as looking at a mirror. Not everybody's listening to themselves as they speak either. So this is of course not. Of course, a lot of teachers here, spiritual teachers, have not learned their own lessons. Of course, as they can channel these vibrations, but they're not learning it themselves. They're going through their own ordeals. Some are going through their ego ordeals, and some of that's being put out there in the public for the people to see. As these, because some spiritual teachers are put on a pedestal, and eventually people find, they're just like everybody else. Yes, they have knowledge, but they still have a lot to learn, as many of them have a lot of flaws. So those that have a great following are not always being genuine. When they're being genuine, not everyone's noticing their flaws, though. And some of those flaws have a major ego connected to it. Some of them also, some major spiritual teachers that are out there, some have said everything they're there to say. And then they just talk about how wonderful they are. It's like they don't have a message anymore. It's gone. They ran out. That can't happen. So as you go into a new Earth environment, it's not an easy ride, as you can see. Your Martian energies. Martian was here to bring in heavy tests, challenges. They're necessary for growth, also for the human to find perfection. The Martians here to bring the human down to his ultimate low. A lot of Martians here are drug addicts that have Martian connections. They want that high again. They want that control again. It's not there anymore. So they want that high, but what kind of high is it? Is it spirit, or is it on another planet where you had all this power? Not powerless here. It's just a different vibration. You're balancing feminine and male energies together. It's all about a balance. And who's used to that, really? Feminine, many are used to a great amount of feminine, not very much masculine. Once again, masculine's not used to the feminine. You're balancing it. That's one of the major testers. That's the only one. And of course, they'll have the monuments on their planet that are teaching you about yourselves. The symbols are just there to remind you of who's here, who's controlling your planet, but also many of you are there to turn off those symbols, to shut them down. It's like a light switch. You just turn it off when you're ready to do so, when it gets enough attention. Yes, your elite, your Illuminati are spoke about in secret, in conspiracy corners. Eventually, it'll be the mainstream. Conspiracy theories like, whoa, well, at first we thought this was all fake, now we're saying it, now we're singing a different tune. Yes, they've done that here and there, but they have not officially done it. The media has not officially done it. They have in some cases, but not fully. And it's not surrender, it's just the awakening of basically shutting down the monetary system and you all activating yourselves when the time is right. Yeah, that's a major leap. Well, you are getting signs of things to come. You just gotta know what to look for. And yes, not to worry. Of course not to worry. Just find inner peace. That's the main message. Find inner peace. It will all work itself out. Just know that. We're not just saying that to make you feel better about yourselves.